Hazel, unclear my schedule for the rest of the afternoon, would you please?
But are you sure you want to do that, sir? You have appointments all day.
Yeah, but I have an appointment with an old Grateful Dead album and a new strain I found down at the Sticky Icks dispensary yesterday.
Well, at least open a window this time, but I'd be clearing some space between side A and B.
Oh yeah, and why is that?
There's somebody here to see you, and they say it's quite urgent.
Well, cancel it. They are going to have to make an appointment. I'm a private eye, not an emergency room doctor.
She insists, Mr. Cordell.
Oh, she, you say?
I thought that might make you a bit more interested.
Well, what's her name?
She says her name is Lilith St. Valens, and she's here to talk about a case.
Oh, well, my caseload is full. Tell her I'm sorry.
Are you sure? Don't you want to ask me what she looks like first?
No, of course not. I'm not that type of guy, Hazel.
Tall, blonde, leggy, red lipstick. Just your type.
Well, I suppose I could squeeze her in between Mountains of the Moon and China Cat Sunflower.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought.
Hazel, what the hell is going on? I just woke up and it's been 3 hours.
Oh, well, sir, you must have fallen asleep in there listening to your Grateful Dead.
Well, why didn't you wake me up? Is the woman still there, the leggy one?
She said she had to leave, sorry.
Damn it, Hazel, you should have woken me up.
I tried to.
You did? No, you didn't.
I pounded on the door for a good 5 minutes. What was in that medicinal stuff of yours?
Oh, well, I'll have to check the label. Maybe it expired or something.
Okay, well, I have her number here.
You do?
Yes, and she asked me to have you text her after you, rise from your nap.
Okay, so give it to me.
Francis, please, don't take this case just because you might be attracted to this woman.
What do you mean? Why would I ever do such a thing?
Oh, I don't know. It wouldn't be the first time now, would it?
Hey now, Miss Quivers was a fluke. I just happened to be in a vulnerable place at the time.
And what about Miss McAfee? How did you fall under the sway of that damsel in distress?
Well, we made a connection.
Uh-huh. A love connection?
Oh, come on, no. Not a love connection.
Yeah, well, every connection is a love connection with you, lover boy.
And what does that mean?
It means you fall in love with every girl you ever meet.
Well, I'm not in love with you now, am I?
Of course you are. You admitted it yourself that New Year's Eve after you polished off that bottle of tequila.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
Well, I'd call the woman. She definitely smelled of money, but be careful. She smelled like trouble too, Frankie.
Hello, Miss Lilith St. Valens. This is Frankie Cordell, private eye.
Mrs.
Excuse me?
Mrs. St. Valens, Detective Cordell.
Please, call me Frankie.
I'd prefer to keep this professional, Mr. Cordell, if you don't mind.
I'm all for that, Mrs. St. Valens. So I'm sorry that I missed you in my office today. I, had a little mishap with my medication.
Oh, it's nothing too serious, I hope.
Oh, no, nothing at all. Just, a little bit of arthritis in the left knee.
Yes, well, anyway.
So how can I help you, ma'am? I don't get too many women that look like you coming into my office.
Oh, is that so? And what kind of women do you get in there, then?
Well, mostly a lot of sad sack jealous types worried about their man banging their secretaries, you know? Things like that.
Well, I wish I could say mine wasn't dissimilar, but alas, I am rather worried about my husband and his extracurricular activities.
Oh, well, most wives would be. So what makes yours so different?
I don't know for sure that he's having an affair, but I do think that there's something going on with him and a woman.
So, let's back up a little bit here. Who is your husband? What's his name?
My husband? My husband is Ronaldo Verger.
Ronaldo Verger? Wait, you mean the Ronaldo Verger of the Verger Group?
Yes, the Verger Group.
They hold the biggest real estate listings in the city, don't they?
The last time he checked, which is every other hour, yes, they still do.
So, you didn't take his name when you got married?
I did, but lately I've readopted my maiden name.
Oh, I see. So what did he get himself involved with? His secretary too, then, huh?
If only it were ever so simple.
It never is it, Mrs. St. Valens?
Well, it's not his secretary that he's become involved with. It's his partner's wife, Amelia Mathis.
Amelia Mathis? Isn't that Rufus Mathis's wife?
Yes, of course. Who else?
Mm-hmm. And how long do you think this has been going on for?
I don't know for sure. At least a few months.
So, your husband is having an affair with his partner's wife. Well, that sounds like some serious Jerry Springer-level drama, Mrs. St. Valens. But where's the rub? Where do I fit in?
You mean, what do I need you to investigate if I already know that this is going on?
Well, yeah. Is there anything illegal going on?
Like what?
Oh, I don't know. Embezzlement, conspiracy, fraud?
I don't know. I guess that's why I'm talking to you, Mr. Cordell.
You need me to find that out for you, to find out if your husband is up to anything illegal with his company?
I believe that would be helpful, yes.
And why do you think that would be so helpful?
Why do you think so?
Blackmail?
Quite possibly.
I'm sorry, Miss St. Valens.
Mrs.
St. Valens, my apologies, but I don't do these types of deals.
Oh, and what types of deals are those?
Dirty ones, ma'am. Frame jobs, hit jobs, things like what you're asking me to do.
Well, what if the price was to your satisfaction?
Are you saying that I can be bought? Is that what you're implying?
Well, can you?
If I had any sense or shame about me, I'd be insulted.
But you don't, so you aren't, isn't that right?
It might be.
So, will you take my case or not?
We're going to have to talk about my fee before I commit to such a delicate job.
I'll double your daily fee plus expenses.
That's a deal.
All right then.
I'll, have my secretary Hazel send you over the particulars, and then we'll get started. Sounds good?
All right, Mr. Cordell.
You'll be hearing from me soon.
I certainly hope so.
Hey, Hastings, how's the blogging business going? Still drinking away your publishing rights?
It's not a blog, Cordell, it's a Substack. And it's going great. I'm up to 150 subscribers.
Is that a lot?
Heck yeah, it's a lot. Pretty soon the money is going to be rolling in.
So tell me, Bart, how does a man earn a living writing a crappy little true crime blog like yours?
I have other sources of income.
Oh yeah? And what might those be?
Like I'd tell that to a detective.
Hey, you know what kind of a detective I am.
A shady one? Unethical?
No, a private one. So whatever you tell me is between us, not between us and Johnny Law.
Oh, you mean your old partners down in Vice?
Partners, yeah, some partners.
Oh, you mean the guys who let you get shot in the back weren't your real buddies after all?
Yeah, well, I found out the hard way what loyalty means in the Mason Police Department. And what it means is not a damn thing.
Hey, you were only trying to do the right thing.
You're drunk, Bart.
Yeah, so what? I still speak the truth. You were doing the right thing.
Yeah, and what did that get me? Dang near paralyzed, that's what.
You saw what you saw, and they couldn't have that.
I swear, Bart, when I transferred to this city from San Francisco, I thought I could do some good.
This city changes a man, Frankie. I guess you just ratted out the wrong cops. How old are Higgins and Plant?
Like I would know.
They're still on the force, huh?
Yeah, still on there, probably causing all sorts of mayhem.
You need to leave all of that behind, Frankie. You've got a successful PI business now.
Well, I pretty much have, Hastings. The truth is that I haven't thought about any of it for a while until you brought it up just now.
Now I can hardly believe that.
I need your help, Hastings. I need your research skills and your sick, paranoid mind.
Oh, me? I thought I was just a blogger.
You are just a blogger, but your blog is about conspiracies, murders, and unexplained events.
Yes, among other things. For instance, I'm thinking of putting a podcast together about serial killers.
Great, just what the world needs. Another one of those.
No, this one will be different.
So you can do research, right?
Well, of course I can do research. All I do is research. I have a degree in research.
You do?
Basically, yeah.
Oh yeah? Where did you get it? A Cracker Jack box?
No, and I'm not even going to tell you where because you won't even believe me, but I studied mathematical science.
Mathematical what?
I wouldn't expect a simple gumshoe like you to understand.
Well, I understand this. Ronaldo Verger.
Ronaldo Verger, the real estate guy?
Yeah, him.
Doesn't he own Verger Mall and Verger Cinemas and Verger Arcade?
Gee, Bart, what do you think?
So you got hired by Ronaldo Verger? I don't understand. To do what? The man must have a small army of PIs on retainer at any given time.
Not him, his wife.
His wife? His wife hired you? But why?
She thinks he's up to some shady dealings and wants me to prove it.
Shady dealings? Like what?
I don't know. That's why I'm talking to you.
I don't understand. What's her end in all this?
I don't know yet, but I'm aiming to find out. But in the meantime, I need you to use your magical research powers to find out what this guy is up to.
And how am I supposed to do that?
I don't know. Go to the library or something. How should I know? That's what I'm paying you for.
Well, I guess I could talk to my cousin Marky, the tax attorney. He has access to some things.
Yes, go talk to Marky. Call him right now. But what does he have access to?
The files downtown. He can get into anything. If something doesn't add up, trust me, Marky will find it.
Yeah, okay, well, how much does he want?
Just a charitable donation would be fine.
Uh-huh, yeah, sure.
So what are you going to be doing then?
Well, I guess I'll do what I'm best at, investigating. And by that, I mean I'm going to follow wherever he goes.
Mr. Cordell, this is Lilith St. Valens. How are you?
Oh, well, hello, Mrs. St. Valens. I'm swell. And what about yourself?
I was wondering about the status of my case. Have you found anything out about my husband?
You mean, have I found out if he's a crook?
I mean, what have you found out? That's what I'm paying you for, right?
Well, if you want to get straight to the point, we can. Your husband is definitely cheating on you, that's for sure.
Yes, well, I told you as much, Mr. Cordell. I don't think I'm paying you for what I already know.
And this affair is most certainly with his partner's wife. You were right about that as well.
Amelia Mathis, yes.
But one thing you don't know, Mrs. St. Valens, is that this affair is happening out in the open.
What do you mean?
I mean it's no secret to you or to Mr. Mathis.
Are you saying that my husband's partner knows that he's sleeping with his wife and is okay with it?
I never said he was okay with it, but he's definitely not putting a stop to it.
And how do you know this?
I was parked on the street outside the Mathis mansion. Your husband went right through the gate and picked her up. Rufus just sat upstairs in the window and watched them drive off. The man is a classic cuckold. Nothing more.
That is disgusting. How can he call himself a man if he lets his wife embarrass him like that?
I don't know, ma'am.
I mean, truly, that is pathetic. No wonder Amelia is cheating on him with my husband.
Right.
Well, what about the records?
The what?
The tax records, the business records, the crimes I want to blackmail him for, remember? Did you talk to your guy about it?
Yeah, well, I just so happened to, but I haven't heard back from him yet.
But it's been weeks. What could possibly be taking so long?
Well, you see, Mrs. St. Valens, it's hard to get information back from a man when he's gone missing.
What do you mean he's gone missing?
I mean that not long after Bart Hastings began looking into your husband and his financial dealings, he disappeared off the face of the earth.
But it must be a coincidence.
Your husband has some powerful friends. I guess some of them didn't appreciate Bart looking into their boss.
But do you think they killed him?
I don't know what they've done with him, but I'm going to find out.
I'm sorry, Mr. Cordell. I never intended for any of your associates to be hurt in all of this.
Yeah, well, it's the price of doing business. He knew what the score was. This is all part of the deal.
I didn't know that the private eye business could be so shady.
Well, it is. I've seen a lot of crap go down between this and the force.
You were a police officer?
I was, yeah, until I was a little too honest.
I see. So now you're making up for it?
Hey, I don't appreciate what you're insinuating, Mrs. St. Valens.
Please, call me Lilith.
Oh, so now you have no problem with it, huh? I thought you wanted to keep this professional.
I think we're past that now, don't you think, Frankie?
Yeah, well...
Have a drink with me.
A drink with you? When?
Now.
And why would I want to get any more involved with you?
Because maybe I can help you.
Help me do what?
Help you find your friend.
I think you've helped enough, Lilith.
One drink, please. I know that you could use one. Plus, we could get to know each other a little better.
One drink. Fine.
Mr. Cordell, are you all right? I was expecting you in the office an hour ago. Frankie, are you alive? You have a client waiting in the office for you.
Yeah, I'm fine, Hazel. Except I feel like death warmed over. Tell the client to come back.
Late night last night?
You could say that.
Did you have a date? What was her name?
Now, why are you always nosing into my business, Hazel? You're my secretary, not my wife.
I'm your personal assistant, and someone has to.
Yeah, well, I got plenty of stuff trying to nose its way into my business these days, believe me.
Like what?
Like this whole damn case, that's what. Everything was going fine until this came around.
Yeah, you just smoked dope in your office and listened to your hippy-dippy records. Now you have to do some actual work.
You called this work, setting up some rich guy?
He deserves it though, doesn't he? Isn't he a corrupt businessman who's cheating on his wife?
Every businessman is corrupt and cheating on his wife, but I only have evidence of the latter anyway.
Still no word from Bart Hastings, huh?
Either Ronaldo Verger has done away with him, or, and I'm hoping this is the case, Bart got spooked and got himself underground before the other two had a chance of happening.
I'm worried about you, Frankie. You don't want to get any deeper into this thing.
I may already be too deep in it, Hazel.
Who were you with last night? You can tell me.
I can, but you have to promise not to be jealous.
Jealous? Oh, please, don't flatter yourself.
Okay, fine. I was with Lilith St. Valens.
You Spent the night with Lilith St. Valens?
Yeah, Hazel, don't be jealous. We met for a drink just to talk things over, and then one thing led to another, and now she's asleep next to me right now.
What did you say?
Look, I said I was sorry, Hazel. I know how you feel about me, but that was just a one-time thing, remember?
You said that Lilith St. Valens is sleeping next to you right now?
Well, yeah, duh.
But that's impossible.
How can it be impossible, Hazel? I'm staring right at the woman as we speak.
Because, Frankie, the client sitting in your office right now is Lilith St. Valens.
Mrs. St. Valens?
Please, Mr. Cordell, St. Valens is my maiden name. Call me Mrs. Verger.
Oh, Verger. Well, how can I help you, ma'am?
Well, Mr. Cordell, I've heard that you've been investigating my husband.
Oh, I can neither confirm nor deny that, Mrs. Verger. I mean, I'm not at liberty to say.
Well, you don't have to say, because I already know. You've been following my husband.
Well,
You've been following my husband, and I want to know why. I want to know who hired you to do it.
Well, to be honest with you, Mrs. Verger, I was under the impression that you did.
What? What are you talking about?
I mean, someone claiming to be you, or Lilith St. Valens, rather, came into my office and hired me to investigate your husband.
Investigate in what ways?
This woman who claimed to be you said that she suspected her husband, well, your husband, of cheating on her.
Well, is he?
Do you think that he is?
I asked you that, Mr. Cordell.
Well, if you hire me, I'll tell you.
You can't tell me as a courtesy? Or is it all about money with you as well, just like everyone else these days?
All right, fine, if you're going to guilt me into it. Yes, he is. Your husband is having an affair. I'm sorry to be the one to have to tell you.
It's okay. It's not like I didn't suspect something was going on. I guess I just didn't know who. Do you know?
It was his partner's wife.
You mean Amelia Mathis?
Yeah, sorry to say.
Oh my god, my Ronaldo is having an affair with Amelia Mathis? But when? How?
I don't know, Mrs. Verger.
Please, call me Lilith.
All right, well, call me Frankie.
But I don't understand. Who is this woman who is pretending to be me?
Well, there's something else that she wanted me to look into about your husband.
What? Tell me.
Something about illegal deals, taxes, white-collar stuff like that. Basically, blackmail material.
So, did you find anything?
I didn't get the chance. The guy I put on the case has disappeared.
Disappeared? What do you mean?
I mean, he's dropped right off the face of the planet, Lilith.
So, do you think that my husband had something to do with it?
I don't know. Do you think you can find out?
I'll try my best to find your friend, but you have to do something for me.
What do you need?
Find out who's impersonating me. I have to know who's trying to blackmail my husband.
I'll do my best, Lilith. Hello there, Lilith.
Oh, Frankie, where have you been? I've been looking for you everywhere.
Oh, well, sorry, babe. I've been pretty busy. A lot of other cases, you know?
But what about ours?
Ours?
You know, my husband. Have you found anything about his business dealings? We know that he's up to something. I.
Listen, I don't know who you are, but your little scheme is over. Do you understand?
What? What do you mean? What are you talking about, Frankie?
I mean, I talked to the real Lilith St. Valens, or Lilith Verger, rather.
What? But I'm the real Lilith Verger.
Who are you really? Who did I really spend the night with? Come on, it's all over.
I don't know what you're talking about, Frankie.
If you tell me, I won't turn you in.
You wouldn't turn me in anyway.
Oh, I wouldn't? And why is that? How can you be so sure?
Because I'm doing this for righteous reasons.
Oh yeah, and what righteous reasons are those?
Revenge, Frankie. Revenge for my family.
For your family? What does that mean? For what?
I'll tell you my real name, but please understand, Frankie, what happened between us, it was real. I meant it.
Oh yeah, I've heard that before.
No, I mean it. It was a wonderful night I spent with you.
Well, I can't say that I didn't enjoy it as well. But if you mean it, prove it to me. Tell me who you really are.
Well, okay. My name is Mercy. Mercy Mathis.
Mercy Mathis, as in the Rufus Mathis family?
Rufus is my brother.
Your brother?
And we knew what Ronaldo Verger was up to. He's been siphoning money from the company for years.
So you knew that he was embezzling?
I just needed you to confirm it. I didn't mean for your friend Bart to get hurt or disappear or whatever.
So you don't know where he is either?
No, I don't.
So this whole scam was to try to blackmail your brother's partner, but you don't even have anything to blackmail him with?
I can still tell his wife about the affair.
You mean the real Mrs. Verger? She already knows.
She does? How does she know?
I guess everyone knows, Mercy. I'm sorry you didn't get what you wanted. I guess nobody did.
I'm sorry that I...
That you what, Mercy? Used me?
No, I told you, Frankie, I enjoyed our night. It meant something.
Well, maybe it did that night, but it doesn't now. Now, it means nothing. Not when my friend is missing and it's your fault.
But I'm sorry, Frankie.
See you around, Mercy.
Frankie, hello, it's Lilith.
Is it the real Lilith?
Yes, of course, Lilith Verger.
Oh, okay, good. How are you?
Did you learn anything about this woman, the one who was pretending to be me?
Yes, and you aren't going to believe it, but her name is Mercy Mathis.
Mathis?
She's Rufus Mathis's sister. I guess they have it out for your husband, too.
You mean?
That's right. It all came down to a jealous husband.
Well, I guess I can't say that I blame him, considering we're both in the same position.
I'm sorry all of this happened to you, Mrs. Verger.
Well, at least I had a competent detective on the case. Speaking of which, how much do I owe you?
You don't owe me a thing, Lilith.
Well, I hope you find your friend.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Goodbye, Lilith.
Goodbye, Frankie.
Hey, Frankie, how are you doing, old friend?
Bart, where the hell have you been? I thought you'd been kidnapped by the Verger group.
What? What are you talking about?
I thought you were dead.
Dead? No, I was just drying out.
Drying out? You mean you were in rehab?
Rehab? Nah, I can't afford that. I was just upstate at my uncle's farm, sleeping in the barn for a month.
Well, why didn't you tell me before you went?
Tell you? Why would I tell you?
Because you were doing a job for me, remember?
I was? What job?
You were looking into whether or not Ronaldo Verger had shady business dealings, remember?
No, I don't. I must have been blacked out at the time. Sorry, Frankie.
So you never even found anything out then?
Well, if I ever did, I forgot about it a long time ago.
Thanks, Bart. You're a hell of a blogger.
I told you I'm not a blogger, Frankie. But, whatever happened with all of that? With Lilith St. Valens and the Vergers and Mathis?
Well, frankly, Bart, I have no freaking clue.
Rufus Mathis soon divorced his wife Amelia and dissolved his partnership with Ronaldo Verger. A few months later, Lilith Verger divorced her husband Ronaldo. Using the photos of his affair taken by her new private eye, Frankie Cordell, she was able to get half of his fortune. She gave him a generous cut and insisted he take it. He used the money to take a long, much-needed vacation and to give Hazel a much-needed raise.